Hello guys, I'm Dan and welcome to Reesy FC and a brand new series for you today. It's a Director of Football challenge with my beloved Leicester City. Now I don't normally do this at the start of a video, you normally see the fancy animation, but I don't normally ask you guys to kindly subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Make sure you hit the little bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And if you do enjoy this video and are looking forward to the rest of this series, hit that thumbs up button as well. It will really help launch this new series and let YouTube pick it up in the old algorithm and stuff and put it out to new people and hopefully bring in a new audience. And yes, as I alluded to, it is a Director of Football challenge, and here are a few rules of the series. Basically, a Director of Football challenge means that I will have no influence at all on the day-to-day running of the club other than to select the match tactics and the training for the first team squad. Basically everything else is left to the Director of Football to either delegate or literally run himself, whatever he wants to do. I'm just in control of the squad that I inherit, the signings that I am given, so I can't even go out and sign the players. I'm not even going to put to the board the type of player that I want to play in my side. He is literally just going to supply me with absolutely everything. If there's players that are going to come in that I don't like, there's nothing I can do about it. The only thing I can do about it is not play them. So if he wants to, for instance, if Jamie Vardy has scored 15 goals in his first 18 games, for example, but the Director of Football brings in a star striker to replace Vardy, but I don't want that star striker, it's then down to me. I can play him if I want, but if I want to keep Vardy in, then I will. But then I'm sure the board will have something to say about that, won't they? So that's the first thing there. Secondly, the rules of this, well, the challenge part of this series is that I want to kind of, I wouldn't say become the most decorated Leicester City manager, but there are a few things that Leicester City haven't achieved, which is quite hard to believe when we achieved the 5,000-1 title win a couple of years ago. So I want to be able to win the club's first ever FA Cup. Believe it or not, Leicester City have never won the FA Cup. So that's one thing we need to put right in this 3-season save, and this will definitely be 3 seasons, unlike my creator club, which we went the extra season on. But yeah, so in 3 seasons we want to win that FA Cup. Leicester City have never won any European silverware either, so we are in the Europa League at the start of this save, so it'll be nice to win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, of course, and then eventually hopefully win the Champions League. But if we can win both, fantastic. If we can win one of them, that's another step in the right direction for this football club. And also the other objective would be to become 2-time Premier League winners, shall we say. It'd be nice to make it 4 times by winning the Premier League in each season. But if we can win the Premier League as well within these 3 years, it'll be fantastic. But the goals are FA Cup, Champions League or Europa League, and another Premier League title. So I think we have gone over everything. Let's get straight into the game then, shall we? So Leicester City hire Rees as the club's new manager. Now eyebrows have been raised, of course they would be. I'm inexperienced. I'm coming to this club who have ambitions of being a top 6 side. I would argue that we kind of are, considering we finished 5th last year. Anyway, more into that. That's for another debate for another time. So yes, so we're a club that want to be an established top 6 side, I assume. And I come in and replace Brendan Rodgers, who was doing a fine job, wasn't he? So the media prediction for us is to finish 8th. Here is a bit of a background on the football club. Founded in 1884, we got the King Power Stadium. Of course, we moved into that in 2002. Filbert Street was our previous stadium. We come in this season, we're playing in the Premier League, of course, where we finished 5th last year. We enter the FA Cup in the 3rd round, as Premier League sides do. Because we're in Europe, we enter the EFL Cup in the 3rd round, and we are in the group stages of the Europa League, where because we finished 5th, we don't have to play the qualifying rounds. Pretty simple there. And they've even updated the training ground, which I'm very impressed with. Seagate training ground, and I did see Beaver Drive somewhere. So yeah, Leicester City, the Leicester reserve team play at Beaver Drive. It is very up to date, this Football Manager, isn't it? Well done, Sports Interactive. So as you can see, 1-time Premier League winner in 2016. We've won the Championship 7 times there: 1925, 37, 54, 57, 71, 80 and 2014. EFL Cup, I was at a couple of these finals. Well, one of the finals we lost that I was at, but 64, 97 and 2000. The 2001 was where I was at Tranmere. 2-1 victory there. How old was I then? I would have been 8 years old. Well, actually, I'd have been 7. I've been coming up to 8, so that is a long time ago indeed. We won League One in 2009. I was there when they lifted that trophy as well. And the Community Shield in 1971. Unfortunately, we couldn't beat Manchester United in 2016. 18. So let's get straight into it then. Here is the, apparently according to Susan Whelan, I suppose the team report from our backroom staff, this is the best side at the club. So the setup, this is pretty much, without looking at the tactics, this is probably how I would set my Leicester City side up. Schmeichel in goal, Castagna, Soyuncu, Evans, Ricardo. I mean, in real life, there's an argument for Fana to be in there ahead of Soyuncu, but I think that's probably about right, putting Soyuncu in there. Ndidi as a holding midfielder, Maddison and Tielemans. This is exactly how I would set it up. Barnes and Cengiz Ünder, who doesn't play an awful lot in real life for Leicester, but I believe he should be given more of a chance. So he initially in pre-season, he will be given a chance to play in an inside forward role, because that's how I like to play, inside forwards or inverted wingers. And the main man, Jamie Vardy, up top, of course. We've got a few players out on loan, and of course Cengiz Ünder is in from Roma. So we will do what we can to secure him. I wonder if it is like it is in real life, an obligation to buy perhaps at the end of the season. But of course we've got nothing to do with that. It's all up to the director of football. This is the Bulls vision then. So play attacking football, play entertaining football, and develop players using the club's youth system. Now, will that mean we're not going to be looking to buy players as such? And another thing we need to realise as well and mention, I've got no influence on selling players either, so nothing's stopping the board taking my star players away from me. So all of a sudden we could get to the January window and, I don't know, Real Madrid come in for Jamie Vardy, for instance, for stupid money. They might accept it, and I can't do anything about it. And then the club, I can't even replace the player. The club have to then give me the replacement, whether that's from the youth team, what we've already got at the club in terms of the first team squad, or they will supply me one through the transfer market. We literally don't know, whether it be loan, whatever. You get the picture by now. We have absolutely no influence on what happens in the 5-year plan. Expand stadium. This is so accurate because Leicester City are going to be expanding their stadium. It's been spoken about for a while, so that's a part of the 5-year plan. Work within wage budget, which is always there. So end of current season, the objective is to qualify for the Europa League. So I assume that's just pretty much a top 6 finish in my book. I personally would like to get to the Champions League spots and finish 4th in the top 4 rather. But we'll see how we go. If we can just keep the board happy, and in this 3-year save we'll see what happens. Reach quarter-final of the FA Cup, of course I want to win it. We've got 3 years to do that. Reach semi-final of Europa League, be nice to win it again. Of course that could be a ticket into the Champions League. I'd pretty much take finishing 6th or 7th or whatever, and winning Europa League and get into the Champions League that way, because it's silverware at the end of the day. You do not get trophies finishing 4th, and of course reach the quarter-final of the EFL Cup. Leicester, of course, last season reached the semi-final where we lost to Aston Villa. We won't talk about that one too much. And that's that. So then after that, it is work towards being recognised as the best of the rest. So pretty much second. They want us to finish runners-up over the next few seasons. I've got a 3-year deal which is fitting for this save. And let's get straight into it then. So I've set up a couple of tactics as well. And here is the main one I think we will play with. I mentioned we will play with that 4-3 role. These two have switched round actually. There we go. So this is now fixed. So this is the kind of, I've only selected the players. If you're wondering where the likes of James Maddison is, they're currently injured, which we'll go through the injury list at the minute. There's quite a few injuries here at the club already, but this is the kind of thing we'll go for. So it's based off a bit of a gegenpress style. I have tweaked it as to how I think Leicester City, the players at Leicester City, obviously I know them very well, meaning by watching them, not personally, but yeah, I know how the team should play, and I know how I would play the football team as well. So it would be a sweeper keeper in Kasper Schmeichel. He can play that role very well indeed. He's a real commander. He's confident. He'll come out and he's to be honest, I think, not being biased, I think he is he should be considered one of the best keepers in the Premier League. He is a top goalkeeper. He's in his he's nearly played 10 years at Leicester City now. Justin at left back and Castagna at right back. I'd probably prefer Ricardo and Castagna in game, I would say, because James Justin is a phenomenal footballer. He's been playing fantastic this year. Soyuncu Evans, I'd have Ndidi here in a holding midfield role. No one plays that better than him. He's fantastic. Again, very underrated player. I mentioned that in my Transfer Bonanza series. Tielemans, Pratt currently is fit. Obviously, this would be James Maddison. Maddison can also play out here on the left, but currently it's two inside forwards of Harvey Barnes and Cengiz Ünder with Jamie Vardy in a pressing forward role up top. Pressing forwards are fantastic in Football Manager 2020, in Football Manager 21, and Jamie Vardy is the best at it, in my opinion. He pretty much, he's kind of, it's his own position basically. No one plays it better than him, in my opinion. Feel free to comment anyone below, but you'll have a hard time convincing me otherwise. The other system would be a 4-2-3-1. Now Leicester do set up like this quite a lot. The players, just where I'm switching, they're changing really, but you get the picture. I'm going to probably tweak with all this anyway. And Ndidi, Tielemans as holding midfielders, bit of a playmaker role for Tielemans. I wouldn't have two playmakers in there, so that he would be an attacking midfielder. I'll tweak this as we go through pre-season, but I just want to show you the lineups that I'm looking at and the formations we're going to use. I always prefer a back four. I don't like a back three or a back five, however you want to call it. Maybe I'll adapt to it in this save depending on how it goes, because Leicester do play it quite a lot. We beat Manchester City 5-2 away. We're good with it. We can do it. I feel the football's a bit negative. I like to play fast, expansive football and attacking football where possible. I'm just more comfortable with a back four personally, with two wing backs or full backs, however you want to call them, supporting the midfield and supporting the attack. I just like it, having a midfielder sit back while the wing backs go forward. You get the picture. If you've seen my saves or any of my other stuff here on YouTube, you understand that. That's exactly how I do like to play the football on Football Manager. So that's exactly what we are going to go with. Islam Slimani's still here. Now, he's a player that we did lose in the January transfer window. He'd never given the chance, in my opinion, at Leicester. His stats are very good on here. 14 finishing, 16 heading. I mean, I'm looking at this guy's stats. I'm probably, unless the club do offload him, I will probably be looking to use him as our second forward, ahead of Iheanacho maybe. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. We don't know if the club are going to take anything away from us. But this in mind, let's have a look at the squad depth before we look at the finances at the football club. Let's base it on my Gegenpress 4-3-3, because this is probably what I'm going to start with. There's a lot of depth for the club. So we've got Kasper Schmeichel, Jakupovic and Danny Ward. Jakupovic and Ward. Ward is the number 2 for me all day long. Apparently Johnny Evans is the best left back. Now that's very, very interesting, because for the life of me, I have never seen him play left back at Leicester. He can play right back as well. He's unconvincing. He is a competent left back. So that doesn't say much about our left backs if Johnny Evans is there. Because this is, of course, the opinion of our assistant manager. If we change this, what does somebody else say? Not an awful lot. Evans is still the favourite left back apparently. Castagna at left back as well. Fuchs, Justin, Pereira. I forgot Christian Fuchs there. I just went straight to James Justin. But Fuchsy is on the injury list currently. Evans and Ndidi ahead of Fofana and Soyuncu. Very interesting. We do know Big Wilf can play there because he's filled in there this season for Leicester. Right back, Ndidi preferred to Ricardo Pereira. I mean, I don't really know what these people have been watching at the club in training. But I would not have Ndidi as a right back either. Interesting stuff. Into the midfield, Ndidi's the best defensive midfielder. I mean, an idiot could tell you that one. Tielemans, Maddison as well is low down on the list in third, which is surprising. I thought he'd be up at least second, but Ndidi can be used anywhere in the squad, can't it? Is this Wilfred Ndidi Football Club or something? And Johnny Evans, because they're bossing it everywhere. James Maddison can play out on the left, which we know he can do. Preferably, I prefer him in the midfield, but Football Manager seems to like him out left. When I've seen people do Leicester City saves, they do get something out of James Maddison as an inside forward or a winger, inverted winger on the left-hand side. So it's interesting he's there, but I'd rather him in a playmaker role in my midfield 3 personally. He also can play as the 10 behind the lone striker in a 4-2-3-1 system as well. There's another formation as well. A diamond. We might train diamond as well, because Leicester are good in a diamond. We saw them demolish Aston Villa last year in a diamond at Villa Park. So that's something to consider as well. Winger Pereira is up there, and that might surprise a few people, but it doesn't shock me. He's a very good forward-thinking wing back, so putting him out on the wide right isn't a bad option, to be fair. Maddison's best out there as well. Jose Perez, Jamie Vardy, Genghis Under, who I would like to play there, is very low down on the list, isn't he? Of course, these are opinions of the assistant manager, not my opinions at all. Vardy, Slimani, Perez, Iheanacho, the 4 are going to move these boys here. Barnes will leave there. I'm a big fan of Harvey Barnes. He may, if we need some pace up there, if Vardy's out for whatever reason, because I do like pacey forwards, Barnes might get up there ahead of Iheanacho and Perez and be a backup with Slimani. Again, let's hope the ball don't sell some of these players. anyway. So let's nip across to the finances as well. There's £33 million in the bank. We've only got a transfer budget of £1 million, so without people leaving, of course that's all down to COVID, without people leaving the football club, I can't see us signing anybody, but again, out of my control. We'll see what the director of football does. Wage budget is nearly £2.2 million, and we're currently spending we've got about 60,000 left, or 70,000 rather, on the wage budget remaining. Apparently next season we're going to be looking at £33 million transfer budget, and roughly the same figure for wage budget. Leicester's model, if Football Manager's going to do it this way, is we lose a big player every season. That's how the club ticks over every year, and it remains self-sufficient away from King Power themselves. They're the parent company, so the way Leicester City do remain self-sufficient is by selling a big player every year. That funds them for that season. We've lost Ben Chilwell, of course, this year to Chelsea, and that's what happened there. If we go to transfer history, I wonder if that's got it in there. Ben Chilwell. Is Chilwell in this list? There we go, £50 million to Chelsea. Leicester fans are very mixed with Ben Chilwell. I was a big fan of Ben Chilwell. However, I do think James Justin gives you a little bit more, especially going forward. Chilwell is one of our own. He come through our youth, but he's been wanting to leave for a couple of years. Liverpool are interested in him, and now Chelsea coming through. He wanted to go. Fans are very mixed, as I say. We've not really missed him, in all honesty, because, as I said, Justin's coming and done well. Castanier's going to go out there as well. Pereira's at right back, so Castagna can move across. So it is a good move for Chilwell, and I think a good move for Leicester. We have lost a few players. Adrian Silva, never given a chance at Leicester, in my opinion. Again, fans are very quick to criticise him and make a judgment on him, but he was never really given a chance at Leicester. Let's have a look at his stats. In the Premier League, none last year, of course, none in the year before. He's only played 2 Premier League games in 2018-19 and 12 in 2017-18. A lot of them were substitute appearances as well, from what I can remember. How you can judge a player on 14 games, I will never know. But anyway, that's another thing. We lost Diabate. I mean, he's no real loss. Personally, Benkovic is out on loan. Iverson, James Hughes, Mitch Clark, George Hurst, who made his first team debut at the end of last season. Rashid Gazelle as well, out on loan. Again, these players will be coming back at some stage, and maybe they'll be a part of the plans when they do come back. Looking at them now, probably not in my plans, but the club may look to bring them back. The only one there I can think of that could be a part of my plans is Filip Benkovic, because this young kid, again, hasn't really had a massive opportunity at Leicester. He's had a few loan spells. Where is he? We signed him in 2018 for £11 million. We loaned him out to Celtic, but he's come back to Leicester, played no games. Now he's gone to Bristol City and Cardiff. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops throughout this save. So, guys, let's have a look as well then at the schedule. I'm going to set all the training up and everything that I want to do in between now and the next episode, where we will come back for the Crystal Palace away game. We've got the EFL Cup coming up just a couple of days later. Of course, just like COVID, as you know, playing Football Manager, the season starts in September, so a quick turnaround in pre-season, and we've got a few 5 friendlies there to get through. So we'll work out the best system. I'll tweak the system. I play every friendly. I play it with a close eye. I play it like I watch most of the game, really tweak my tactics to make sure we are ready for that first game of the season. Let's nip across the staff responsibilities, actually, to show you and prove to you that we are going to give the director of football, we're going to delegate all the tasks to the director of football, or whoever he wants to delegate them to. So my only responsibility here is going to be handling the first team selection. So what we will do, we'll get rid of this, delegate. Now this is where I'd be careful that I don't delegate the handling of the first team squad selection. So all the scouts, we're going to delegate this as well. That will all go to the director of football as well, and the rest of these as well. So hiring, loan manager, renewing under 23 contracts, recruiting, scouting staff, this is all going to be delegated to whoever will take over that, I guess, between the chairman and director of football. Transfers, negotiate players, signings. I think this goes straight to director of football for all of these. As you saw, some went to the chairman in the last one, but these are all transfer and contract responsibilities will all go to John Rudkin, our director. We'll look at his attributes in a moment, and let's delegate that to him as well. Media will leave as is, I think. Yeah, I can just sort that out later. Leading general training, I'm going to remain in control of the day-to-day running of the first team squad, and I will do the individual training. I will do the general training of the team, because that's what a manager needs to do, really. Provides opposition tactic instructions. I do all of mine anyway, and the rest is just match day stuff, so nothing to do with the director of football. But all I've got, in fact, I'm not even going to handle the scout meetings. We've got to delegate that to John Rudkin as well. So all I've got: handle team selection, media, which I'll probably turn off anyway because I don't do the media, training for responsibility, tactics, and the match day itself. That is all the only responsibilities I've got here at Leicester City. Now then, let's have a look at our staff. And where is our good friend? I mean, we should actually delegate. I mean, I suppose this just hasn't updated yet because we've just changed all this. Let's have a look at John Rudkin and our director of football. So, I mean, a lot of people will come into a director of football save or challenge or however you want to call it and look to recruit their own director of football. I want to come to the club and work with what I got, basically. John Rudkin's already here. Leicester fans are very mixed on him as well. John Rudkin is here. I'm going to work with John Rudkin. If the board want to move John Rudkin on at all during the save, up to them. Out of my control. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. I'm just going to play with the cards that I've been dealt, and whatever the club want to do with Rudkin, they can do whatever with him, really, basically. But he's not bad. Attributes: judging player ability, potential 15, so that's pretty good. Negotiating 18, which is very, very important indeed. Mental attributes not too bad either. So the bits that we need him to do, he's on paper a reasonably good director of football. So I'm quite happy with that. If the club want to move him on for a better one, happy days. If we stick with him at the moment, the relationship is new. I'm happy as it is. Hopefully he doesn't become a bit of a pain and gives me a lot of rubbish to work with and takes all my best players away from me. But it's his job to do that, and we'll see what happens. So then let's head across then to the schedule. We just went through this, but let's have a look. The first game, you will come back, it will be Crystal Palace away, and a very tough away game. Leicester don't generally do well at Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, so we'll see how that goes. And and we will kick things off. We'll also go through, of course, what's happened over the transfer window as well. So guys, if you did enjoy that, make sure you leave a like on the video for me, please. Also consider hitting the subscribe button below. Make sure you hit the little bell to be notified every time I upload a video, and you let me know in the comments how you think this will go. Will the relationship with the director of football deteriorate? I don't know. I've never done one of these saves. I've seen them done and I've read about them, and I thought, what better club to do it with than my beloved Leicester City. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you think it will go, guys, and we'll see you next time for the first game against Crystal Palace away. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.